Hi, I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and this is the video version of my article on the dangers of toxic positivity. What I'm about to say is an approximation of my article, so won't be exactly the same. Now, sometimes I just want to be left alone. As a younger man, just occasionally, I'd stumble into work with a thumping hangover. I worked in a printer's shop with just one other guy. Now, he was a lovely chap, deeply religious, always smiling, teetotal as a nun in a yoga studio. He was always upbeat, smiling, chirpy, chipper and sunny. He loved jokes as long as they were wholesome, not mordant and dark as mine sometimes were. His brain just didn't compute negatives. Anyway, to be frank, on my infrequent young man hangover work days, I'd find his incessant upbeat exuberance painful. And I feel bad even saying this, as he was so nice. And of course, how could someone who never drank a drop understand why his co-worker, beset with other life problems at the time, didn't always feel like Jimmy Cricket at a Mormon wedding? And yet, the world needs positivity. Having seemingly bad-mouthed, bright as a buttonism, I've got to say I do love positive people, but I also love caustic wit, the capacity to know and see the darker shades of life. Together, they're the perfect combination. The world, of course, needs positive energy and can-do types with faith that things can and often do work out for the best. And there are significant positives to being positive. Advantages of being realistically positive include the fact that optimists tend to live longer and healthier lives, and even have better luck because they keep trying for longer, and also see possibilities where gloomier types just see problems. And some optimists can spread their positivity to inspire other people. But of course, as with all things, we need balance, because nothing is so good that too much of it can't be toxic. We're often encouraged to drink water because of its undisputed hydrating health benefits. But of course, too much of it can be deadly. When people drink excessive amounts of water, they can develop hyponatremia, a life-threatening drop in the body's sodium levels. So no matter how wonderful something is in the right amount, we would do well to remember that too much will sooner or later come back to bite us. When it comes to positivity, as with everything else, there is a universal requirement that it come into play at the right time, in the right situation, with the right people. Assuming more is always better negates the importance of proportion and the rule of diminishing returns, in which more doesn't not only always mean better, but can in fact start to mean much, much worse. So one pill may cure your headache, but 1,000 isn't 1,000 times better for you. Okay, so I think I've made my point. On to toxic positivity. Now, it's often stated that positive types tend to live longer. I just asserted that myself. But other research has found that being overly optimistic about the future may leave us less likely to be here long-term than our more saturnine friends. Positive thinking might lead you to believe that you can drive safely after 12 tequila sunsets, that smoking is good for you, that I'll be fine strolling at midnight in the dodgiest part of town, or that investing in the guy at the bar's Moroccan camel breeding business, and actually, believe it or not, that was a business that I was once tempted to invest in, is bound to make you rich. And I'm reminded horribly of the man who tried to fly from the Eiffel Tower in 1912 with his homemade parachute suit. What an optimist, what a positive thinker, and what a sorry mess. But there are other more insidious dangers of toxic positivity. So what is toxic positivity? Toxic positivity, if I can say it again, is the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset. It's the proverbial look on the bright side, taken to an extreme, where acknowledging any negative feelings is discouraged or outright ignored. This mindset often manifests in cliches like everything happens for a reason or just stay positive. Of course, such platitudes are not in and of themselves toxic, and often they can help people. Reassuring that you can do this can certainly encourage people, sort of reminding people of their strengths, of how perhaps they've overcome adversity before and can do that again. And that can be really valuable. In fact, it can be a wonderful thing to do for someone. But as with everything, it's a question of at what time, to what extent, and in what way. Me grinning and making unsolicited suggestions to think positive to some guy lying under the wheels of a juggernaut is clearly too much, too soon, and not effing helpful. Invalidation, denial, and pressure can really screw people up. Toxic positivity is essentially the overgeneralization of a happy, optimistic state to any and every situation, leading to the dismissal, invalidation, or suppression of authentic emotional experience. While positivity can be a powerful tool for resilience and mental well-being, its toxic counterpart can do more harm than good. So let's take a closer look at why toxic positivity is dangerous and how we can foster a more balanced approach to emotions. Someone pretending that they aren't in dire straits or refusing to accept the state of things or the dangers or disadvantages of a situation can, paradoxically, produce negative outcomes. Sometimes when we reach rock bottom, we need to accept that and understand that we have reached such a low state before we can work our way back again to a genuinely more positive state. Being buried underground is one thing. Refusing to acknowledge that means that you're never going to start digging, or that you delay digging until it's too late, if you'll forgive my rather claustrophobic metaphor. Other harmful effects of toxic positivity include invalidation of emotions. When people are told to stay positive in the face of adversity, it can invalidate their real and painful emotions. This dismissal can make people feel misunderstood, isolated, and reluctant to share their feelings in the future. Increased stress and anxiety can be another side effect of toxic positivity. If people feel the need to suppress any negative emotions rather than deal with them in a healthy way, this can cause stress and anxiety and exacerbate mental health issues. It may even produce a state of cognitive dissonance if someone denies, even to themselves, that there are problems. Hindered emotional growth. Emotions, both positive and negative, play a crucial role in personal growth. Experiencing and processing difficult emotions can lead to greater self-awareness and emotional resilience, and also understanding of other people. Toxic positivity can stunt this growth by not allowing individuals to fully engage with their emotional spectrum. Damage to relationships can be another aspect of toxic positivity. When someone constantly pushes positivity on other people, it can strain relationships. Friends and family members might feel unsupported or unheard, leading to weakened connections and trust issues. There can also be a perpetuation of shame. People who are unable to maintain a positive outlook when they feel that they really should might feel ashamed or guilty. This self-criticism can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and depression, creating a vicious cycle of negative emotions, masked by a forced positive facade. But what can we do about toxic positivity? In some ways, our modern culture promotes a sense of toxic positivity. People always seem to be upbeat or amused or amusing, ecstatic or successful, certainly in commercials. Folk often show their most positive moments in social media, creating an impossible standard that can lead people to feel that their own lives are somehow lacking. Others seem to have everything, while we seem to have very little. Feeling like a failure for not being positive can add to the burden. People can feel pressured to be positive and feel there must be something wrong with them when they can't be. Identifying toxic positivity is the first step towards combating it. So here are some signs to watch out for and ways to promote a healthier emotional environment. So firstly, we can acknowledge all emotions. Recognize that it's okay to feel sad, angry, or frustrated. These emotions are natural and part of the human experience. Encouraging people to express their feelings without judgment fosters a supportive environment and helps us better understand our emotions and ourselves. There are proven benefits to being able to name your feelings. We can also validate other people's feelings. Instead of offering unsolicited advice or platitudes, we can listen empathetically. And phrases like, I understand that you're going through a really bad time at the moment, or it's natural to feel that way, can be much more supportive. This doesn't, of course, mean that the person can never change their emotional responses, but now may not be the time. We can also encourage authenticity by promoting a culture of authenticity where people feel safe to express their true emotions. This can lead to more genuine connections and a better understanding of one another's experiences. And we can balance positivity with reality. While maintaining a positive outlook can be sometimes hugely beneficial, it's important to balance it with a realistic perspective. Acknowledge challenges and setbacks as part of life's journey rather than brushing them aside. We can practice compassionate self-talk as well. Encourage self-compassion and understanding by allowing yourself and others the grace to experience a range of emotions without the pressure to always be positive. Toxic positivity, while often well-intentioned, can lead to significant emotional harm by invalidating genuine feelings and experiences. People with low self-esteem, for example, tend to feel worse after being encouraged to use positive self-affirmations. We know that being too positive with or about our more negatively biased clients and those with low self-esteem can break rapport and leave them feeling misunderstood or even mistrustful of us. Heaping praise on a self-hater can backfire big time. We need to be subtle and sensitive when helping to change any toxic or self-harming mindset. Undue negativity, cynicism, hopelessness, and negative thinking biases are certainly toxic in themselves, but that doesn't mean the opposite isn't also true. Hollow positivity is still hollow. As with all things, it's a case of balance. We can help ourselves and others find real reasons to feel and act more positively rather than throwing positive cliches at them. You can never be wrong to feel something. It's just what you're feeling. This doesn't mean that you can't start to feel differently at some point, but acceptance has to come first. By fostering a culture that values emotional authenticity and resilience, we create a more supportive and understanding environment. Embracing the full spectrum of human emotions allows for deeper connections, greater personal growth, and ultimately a healthier approach to life and its inevitable ups and downs. Just as a good meal needs different counterbalancing flavors, so too life needs the right proportions of sweet and sour, negative and positive, yin and yang, if you will.